All right, guys, so let's talk about this. You guys saw the thumbnail, and let's drop some truth bombs here, okay? Let's speak these facts here. So, when Mercedes Monè was in AEW, she immediately had a presence. She showed up, got in Cody Rhodes' face, disrespected him, disrespected Brandy Rhodes. You know, she comes out a couple of weeks later, whatever, with Shaquille O'Neal. And, you know, they had a little confrontation, but they end up having a match. And, you know, Shaq and Cody, you got Brandy out there, you got Jade out there. Okay, Jade became a force to be reckoned with. Jade was squashing everybody. She became the TBS champion. She showed great promise very early. AEW knew how to make her look strong, knew how to put her in positions where you couldn't look at her and go, oh, she can't wrestle, or no. Jade hasn't been wrestling for a very long time, but Jade, you know, in the right situation, she looks really good. Well, at this time, Mercedes Monè is still in the WWE, and you know what I find funny? Because even the Bianca Belairs of the world, when Mercedes left and all, no, you know, people love to compare. Oh, she couldn't compete with these guys. She this, she couldn't that, she couldn't this, she couldn't that. They talked so negatively about Jade. All of these different podcasters and these different YouTubers, everybody has something so negative to say about Jade, right? Because Jade is AEW at the time. So she's out here doing her Goldberg thing. She got a nice streak going on. She's just crushing everybody. Okay. Now, Mercedes Monè and Naomi have their situation and they exit from the WWE. And then people start turning their backs on Naomi and Mercedes. Oh, who do they think they are? Right? Just like as if what them leaving affects them. As if they were there to know what happened, right? So Naomi didn't say too much, but Mercedes, she basically told what happened, and she traveled. She did what she did. She was out here finding success. And she fought Willow. She wrestled Willow Nightingale. She wound up breaking a foot or a leg, whatever thing was a foot. And so she was out for a while. Now, it was teased that she was probably going to become all elite, and she did. Meanwhile, Naomi's over here wrestling in TNA, and pretty much this is before the partnership. So nobody's talking about Naomi. Big deal. She's wrestling in TNA. This little small company. Right? But then, before it's all said and done, she heads back to the WWE. So now all of a sudden, it's all praise Naomi. Let's take back those mean things we said no, right? Mercedes Monè stands her grounds. Naomi's not the star that Mercedes is. So, you know, she can't just go just anywhere and do what she want to get the type of deal like what Mercedes got. And anyway, she comes back. But, you know, she's just in matches here and there. Nothing special surrounding her. Notice it took Jade Cargil. Naomi turns heel. And all of a sudden people going, this is the best work now I was saying Naomi doing. But against who? Jade. The situation surrounding her and Jade. Right? Let's look at this. Mercedes Monè, they kept her away from the world title picture, the women's world title picture, but she was in the the TBS title picture. She won that, and then she started collecting belts at other promotions. Jade, on the other hand, gets a fake injury / real injury. She gets thrown through shoved off a loading dock or whatever, and lands on a car windshield. They give this weak ass storyline, you know, every other week. You know, I gotta find out what happened to my girl Jade. No mentions of it. Here's Nick Aldis. Well, I looked on the camera and I found something. Nick, you guys are not even in the same building this week as you were last week. What the hell did you find? You know what I mean? It was so stupid. Okay. Jade comes back. Meanwhile, Mercedes is still doing what Mercedes does. And Jade comes back. And what does Jade do when she comes back? She finally storms out at the Elimination Chamber. Okay, she opens the door. She goes in there. She puts a little beat down on she puts a proper beat down on Naomi, and she leaves. Okay. Funny thing was, she came dressed up in wrestling gear like she was coming to wrestle. She just showed up and had like a minute or two of just slamming her around or whatever, and she leaves. Okay. She ends up losing a freaking match to who was it? Was it the little puppet chick or whatever? She ends up what's her name? Forget her damn name. But she loses this match. And this is in a lead up to her fighting against Naomi, who's the one who shoved her off the ledge into the car, right? Now, this is her bullshit storyline. Everybody's blaming Jade for everything that goes wrong in the WWE that she's involved in. Meanwhile, Mercedes Monè is out here collecting belts, putting on the best matches of her life, living her best life. And we know that all the hatred that Mercedes was getting, all the racism, all the negativity, was simply because she found major success outside of the WWE. Now, the WWE are the type of company where they dictate how big you get. Now, if you get so big to the point that, hey man, I could walk away from here and I can become an actor or whatever it is you got going on that you don't even need the WWE, they don't care about that. What they care about is that whatever success you have can help benefit them. This is why The Rock was able to stay in the position he's been in so long with them, because of his success outside of the WWE. You understand? That's how that operates. Nothing that they do for you is for you. It's for them. But if you happen to be able to benefit from it as well, and it works out to where your success, your popularity helps them, then they're all for it. Now take Dave Bautista, for example. Dave has success outside of the WWE, but not on the same level or even close to like The Rock's level. You understand? You see, Dave, I liked his character in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's been in some movies where I thought were cool here and there, but he's not seen the same way as The Rock. And if Dave Bautista shows up at your show, it's not like your ratings are going through the roof because Dave has come back. No. And so, yeah, pretty much what people was hoping would happen is that Mercedes is going to come to AEW. Okay, she's going to win the women's championship, and then her contract's going to expire. She's going to run right back to WWE. This is what they were hoping. Now, let's look at what Jade is doing in WWE. As far as I'm concerned, she got that title by default. She got that title by default. And the honest truth is, Jade winning that belt would have been a better effect if, for one, because we all thought that it was thinking that they were going to wind up turning Bianca Belair heel. And I felt like the fans started booing Bianca. Maybe they was expecting it to happen, so it was like, we know she's going to turn, but it never happened. But instead, they turned Jade heel. This is how ass backwards the WWE is. They turned her heel. Okay, here's the difference. She started in AEW as a heel. They built her up as a heel, and as a heel, she was still getting love from the fans. Okay, here in WWE, they turned her face. It's always something, and wrestling does this, period. A lot of AEW included, where some people just have to be heel to get a belt, where it's like, and then I get sick of that, simply because, what we find happening is, the fans get behind certain people when they're face, and to turn them heel, right? To turn them heel just for them to win the title. It winds up, that starts to run thin with the fans. You know why? Because the majority of the times that happens, you only hold the title for long periods of time when you're a heel. But when you're a face, right? When you're a face, 2-3 month reign, done. And that's what happens often in wrestling. Okay. But let's look at the two. Jade was being compared to Bianca. She was being compared to Mercedes Monè. She was being compared, to the top women in wrestling, and in and outside of AEW. In WWE, nobody's comparing Jade to anybody. And why I say she got the belt by default is because look at who's who. And if Tiffany Stratton is really injured, right? Then yeah. Well, who else is there that you really want to give the belt to? Who? When you look at who's there, just think who. Okay? Look at what they just did to Julia. Right? So Jade thought the grass was greener on the other side. She jumped ship. Okay? Look at what's going on. Jade is in a stale era of women right now. This is stale. Then when you look at who the faces are, well, she's getting ready to wrestle against who? Whatever that chick name is that hangs out with Mia Yim. Like, really? That's who you, is it B-Fab or whatever her name is? I don't know. But whoever, that's who you really want to have Jade come out and start feuding with first? Okay, cool. So if it's a slow build, can you say that you're confident that the WWE won't drop the ball with Jade? Because if the idea is just to throw out here to the Sharks and hey, she's going to have to adjust to her, whatever. Here's what I'm saying. There are certain people in WWE that she should be squashing anyway. Okay? J-Fab or whatever she call herself should not be a 50-50 match with Jade Cargil. And this is what I said. They brought Jade Cargil in, and all they concerned about was her flexing her muscles and doing her little routine flexes with Bianca. But as far as her with that impact, with that kick-ass, you don't want to get in my way mentality, it was gone. And you didn't see it, and she looked just like another, she was just another wrestler. Meanwhile, Mercedes Monè is going from promotion to promotion to promotion in the country, outside of the country, collecting titles. And all of this hate and, oh, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter to you. It matters to her, it matters to AEW, and it matters to the promotions that she's winning these titles in, and it matters to the wrestling fans that appreciate her work. So all of these negative people, the funny thing is, they did all this talk about Jade, and you want to know what they thought? Jade is not going to win that title. She's not ready. She's too green. They said all these things, and guess who wins the title? Jade. So now you're putting yourself in a position of, damn, can we really compare the success, the focus, and the treatment of a Jade Cargil to what Mercedes Monè is doing? Nope. Nope. And you look at who she's wrestling, you look at how things are going. AEW is bringing you wrestlers in that you usually don't get a chance to see. They brought people in that I've watched on the independent, so I see them and know who they are when they come, often. So it's a cool thing to see that, especially when the fact is professional wrestling has so many independents, so many different promotions. Let's just say promotions. I'm sick of saying independents, really. They have so many promotions and in and out the country, and the fact that Tony Khan is allowing his talent to do this, okay? Chris Statlander, different wrestlers, I've seen them in these other promotions as well. But Mercedes is out here doing something she would never, ever, ever be allowed to do if she was in WWE. And you guys would rather see someone's freedom taken away instead of just not watching, since you hate it so much, right? But instead of that, what you guys are doing is complaining about, oh, I'm tired of Mercedes. Yeah, right, I'm tired of Charlotte Flair. I'm tired of all of them because they're corny and they're doing nothing that you really care about. And the teams that they make, everything, they just throw random wrestlers together. They put matches together that doesn't make any real sense. And when you start looking at who's doing what, for me, I feel like, all right, hold up. Now, you take someone like Bayley, you take someone like Mia Yim. At one point, it was Chelsea Green, not because she's such a great wrestler, but just because the fact that she's been there for so long, and you know how they decided to just bypass Chelsea Green. But that silly, goofy gimmick is gonna have to really end if anybody take her serious. But you take all these wrestlers that I've seen so many of you YouTubers make these videos about how they're passing this person by. They're not showing any love to this person, right? Now, all of a sudden, you guys went from saying, oh, it doesn't matter that they got Mercedes. They're going to use her good for like 2 weeks, then they're going to forget about it. That's the stupid nonsense that you guys would say. And then it's like, damn, Mercedes is winning, and she's winning clean. Damn, Mercedes is out here doing her thing. Okay, nah, she's doing too well without, WWE. Nah, we got to show some hate. So here's the deal, right? Mercedes is doing her thing now. She won't have these belts all the time. At some point, it'll be somebody else's spot and whatever. But if AEW doesn't know what they're doing and all this dumb stuff that you guys say, please tell me what the hell what the WWE is doing right now. And not only tell me what they're doing, explain to me why Jade Cargil is in this position right now without any challengers that you really care about. And this is why they had to tease a Charlotte Flair Jade Cargil beef, even though she's a tag champion. Now, she can always lose that belt, but at the same time, the tag belts, and then, her go one-on-one with Jade. However it's going to go, who cares? I'm saying, where are the beefs, the challenges that you really want to see? And we know Naomi is out pregnant. And when she comes back, do you think that it makes any real sense for her to pick up where they left off against Jade? Where's Bianca Belair? Right? So my thing is, in this match, Bianca will be the face and Jade will be the heel, if that's the route they choose to go down, and if she's still holding the belt by then. And the reality is, even with her winning the belt and all that, well, SmackDown continued this past Friday to draw in less than 1 million views. Yeah. So all of these things that people are saying, I don't focus on like what people say to where it doesn't affect my judgment and what I see, but it does get my attention to the point of, for you guys to be such lovers of professional wrestling, you just love to hate on people, but you don't look at the facts that's right in front of you. What could have been, would have been, okay, well, we don't know, we don't cry over spilled milk. What happened, happened. But Jade Cargil does not have the same presence. She does not have the same feel, and as she did in AEW, and everybody with 2 good eyes and some common sense can see that. This version of Jade Cargil has been watered down, and they try to get her back to that I'm that bitch, that aggressiveness. But I'll tell y'all something. If Jade Cargil ends up at some point, just let's say she just pack her shit and leave WWE, and let's say she does head back to AEW, you guys would hate so much for her and Mercedes to headline a Dynamite, Collision, or pay-per-view. And this is one of the things that I see all the time. It's I want to see this person fail if they're not in the WWE. And today, again, I heard somebody else say they think that Adam Copeland is going to be the person to wrestle against John Cena. I'll tell you what, if that happens, right, Tony Khan has already been said by his staff that, hey man, this guy really cares about wrestling, and but I wouldn't do it for the WWE. And if Tony Khan did it, it wouldn't be for them. It would be for Adam Copeland. But to be perfectly honest with you, for a company that's counter-programming me, for a company that's trying to bring about my demise, I really wouldn't do it. Because the only thing that he gets out of this is, he's showing that, hey man, you know what, he's a good dude. But other than that, like, who cares? The WWE are not full of good dudes. They're full of scumbags. And so I personally wouldn't do it. But anyway, where Mercedes Monè is so far up the totem pole. Jade Cargil is not even close. So her holding that WWE Women's title don't mean a damn thing. What are they going to do with Jade? How is this title going to be defended? What type of matches are they going to be in? What type of storylines are they going to put Jade in now? Because truthfully, man, Mercedes Monè is doing her thing. And even though, when Tony Storm had the belt, the two of them, you could say they were the faces of that division. Chris Statlander, I love her too. She's a good, wrestler, really solid wrestler, and I love Chris Statlander in the ring. But Mercedes Monè with those belts, she's still the face. She's still doing what she's doing. Toni Storm is not trying to be a glory hound. She did what she did. She's had her matches, and okay, Chris Statlander is in the position she's in, but it's clear Mercedes Monè is dominating, and it hurts people to their damn core to say Mercedes is running women's wrestling. Period. Because they just want that claim to come from someone that's in the WWE. And this is how sad people are, man. Hey, it is what it is. But that's all I got for you guys right now. Catch you guys on the next video.